Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scam Economy Post Show. It is I, your host, Matt Bender. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I mean, Mike Burgersberg, the last time he came on was warning us about Celsius. He had written about it before Celsius collapsed, and then he came on the show to talk about it all. So, when Mike Burgersberg finds this stuff, he publishes it when he's, it's not like, oh, this is just no, he's found the receipts on the blockchain. This is all what it means, like he said, is some things are still to be determined. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. This show is on a Sunday night, like last week's show. That's not been the usual night for Scam Economy. Usually the show premieres on Thursday night. I mentioned this on last week's when I was on the Majority Report. I forgot to post it on Patreon and on the YouTube the community board, so I apologize for that. But basically, I am trying out Sunday night for Scam Economy right now. It's a trial, some A-B split testing, if you will. The reason is, like I mentioned, last week's episode on Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club was the highest download day for the podcast. You probably didn't notice much of a difference. It seems like the YouTube audience is about the same. But it was the single largest one-day download day for Scam Economy since I launched the show in January. I think the episode had something to do with it. I also think Sunday night into Monday morning has something to do with it. The thinking there from me, and that's why I'm trying it out, is usually, we're live. We do this for Thursday night, and the YouTube audience is there. That's fine. Thursday night, that's cool. But for the podcast audience, they're probably waking up the next day, and that's when they see this show in their podcast feed. If they already have a lot of podcasts they're listening to, maybe they're catching up from the day before or whatever, or other podcasts come out Friday, the show might not be the priority first listen for everybody. And then Friday ends and it's the weekend. And then Monday comes and they got a shit ton more to listen to. And, episodes that come out on Saturday and Sunday are going to be even more fresh than Thursday's Scam Economy in their feed. But for Monday, this show drops Sunday night. It's in their feed for tomorrow morning. They got Monday to listen to it, Tuesday, and the whole week without those 2 empty days of Saturday and Sunday in there. That's just my thought process. I'm letting you guys in on it. That's why I'm trying this out. If there's no big difference and it was just all because of the episode, the Yuga Labs episode, then maybe we'll go back to Thursdays. Just trying things out, Jin Meyer says, I like Sunday streams, not too many out there. Yeah, especially right now where there's no real Sunday TV. Probably would not be doing this if House of Dragon was on still. That would probably be most people's thing over Scam Economy. But we'll try this out right now. I think this is a good time to do it too. Also, because I'm crazy and out of my mind, I'm probably starting a third show. It's not well thought out like Scam Economy. You guys know I was pumping up Scam Economy months before it came out. I had the whole launch planned out, the exact day. The reason I was doing it was on the Majority Report, so I could get them to announce it and have a big launch day. It's not like that. It's a last minute idea that would only make sense to do right now. I think when it drops, you'll all get it. You should probably, I got to submit it to Apple Podcasts and probably takes them a day or two to put it up. So you'll see. I'm insane. I'm crazy. Patreon.com/Matt Binder. I really should be holding this stuff till I get more patrons, but I can't help myself. It's not gonna be a like Doomed and Scam Economy where you know what you're getting. You know, the Doom show of the week, the Scam Economy episode of the week. It's a nice, schedule. This is gonna be more off the cuff. You'll get it. You'll get it when you see what it is. Patreon.com/Matt Binder to support my crazy. What am I doing to myself? I got kids. What am I doing? Roller Dragon says, "Tell me it's you and Lance." That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Oh, everyone, people talking about Young Pioneer says it's time sensitive thing with Libtard 01, right? Everybody is talking about my investigation into Jimmy Dore's sock puppet. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I think my version is really good. I also really enjoyed the version we did on the Majority Port where they reacted to clips of my version, which was a lot of fun too. So check both out. Jeez. Again, patreon.com/Matt Binder. If this was my full-time thing, if I had enough patrons, I would be able to do more of that stuff. Like, it wouldn't be like, honestly, I probably could do a lot more of it. The problem is time. I have a day job, and then I have a few hours every night. Not every night either. I carve out time for the live streams. But, I try to spend time with my kids. Want to be a good dad, right? Can't ignore them. So, we'll see how things go. I just have fun doing this stuff, So we'll see how this goes. No change to Doomed, no change to Scam Economy. These two are but the third one will be fun. I should reach out to Lance about doing at least some episodes with me. Cy Abelman says absentee father hour. Well, I mean, that's why I do it at night because they're sleeping. I would never, in the day, if I didn't have a day job, I'd be able to do this while they're at school. You guys would get daily streams of daytime, maybe even nighttime too. I'd be streaming like a madman if this was my full-time gig. Patreon.com/Matt Binder. Let me thank those patrons who've joined since the last episode of the show. We got just a few, but I'll give them a shout out, of course. Brian B, Chai T-Rex, and Noel P. Thank you all so much for becoming patrons. Been a hard couple months, the first 2 months in a row where, we got another one too that just, Paul M, thank you so much. And someone up there, Jayop Van M, thank you so much. Up their patron amount tenfold. Thank you so much. This is the thing. Also, you could drop if you can't afford to give a monthly membership, I understand. You could go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matt Binder if you're watching live, and drop a super chat, and I will read your super chats. You can also go to twitch.tv/Matt Binder, and over there, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you get a free Twitch Prime subscription every month. It comes free with your Amazon subscription. If you're already paying for your yearly Amazon Prime, which I get, it's very helpful service if you're someone who needs to order things. You don't have time to go out to the grocery store. You don't have time to go out to, Target or whatever to get things you need around the house. I'm there with you guys. It's a good service regardless of what you think about Amazon, unfortunately. But if you are paying that, you could make sure Jeff Bezos gets less of your money by simply connecting your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account. And you get a Twitch Prime subscription every month. And with that, you get to force Amazon to give a small, but still, it's small is still more than nothing, a small portion of your Amazon Prime subscription to your favorite Twitch creator. And if you subscribe to me with your Twitch Prime subscription, you're forcing Bezos to kick over a couple of bucks to me at no extra cost to you. I mean, it just makes sense to do. CEO Friccio says, "Oh my God, is he looping? Didn't we just do this?" That was on the other stream, though. I get it. If you were watching both the premiere episode and then the live stream post show, I did just loop. But there actually is, from my own analytics, a different audience for both shows, so I had to do it on both streams. I promise you won't hear me say it again till the show is done. Promise. I got no ads here. Don James 1676, thank you for subscribing at tier 1. 4-month subscriber. Let's go. Sundays are good for me, says Don James. Cool. All right, let's go to the phones. You can call into the show by going to Skype. Open up Skype. Type in Doomed Live, one word. And yeah. I'll take any call that comes in as they come in. There's no screener. And we could talk about whatever you'd like. Crypto. Here, I'll put on my generic background so we really can talk about whatever you like. Crypto, politics, midterms are Tuesday. Don't forget to vote. Yeah. Amanda says, "Hey, Matt." Hey. Oh, we got a call coming in right now. Let's take this call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Matt. This is Wanda from Maryland.
Hey, Wanda. How are you? Pleasure to hear from you again.
Good. I don't know if you remember me. I called a few weeks ago.
I do remember you.
Oh, okay. Good. Listen, I wanted to say that I don't know if you can do this, but for those of us that are boomers and have Amazon Prime and know nothing about Twitch, my boomer friends know nothing about Twitch, but they have Amazon Prime. If you could do like a little video showing how to do it, a lot of boomers would probably just give you the money.
I should do that. You're right. I gotta be honest with you too. Don't worry about it, because Twitch honestly makes me feel like a boomer. I mean, it is the most confusing platform to me. People have walked me through it before, and obviously, I stream on there and I get it a little bit more than I did, but there's still some stuff that's just like baffling to me. Like when I watch someone who's on Twitch, who's like just streaming on Twitch, and there's all like the pop-ups of like the subscriptions and the sound effects when someone subscribes. I'm like, what are you doing? There's too much going on the screen. This is too much for me. Why would you do this?
Yeah, it's kind of dizzying for a boomer. I mean, it took me, I did subscribe to you on Twitch, by the way. I figured it out, but it took like a video of 3 millennials and 2 Gen Zs for me to get it.
Oh, you should send me which video like sealed the deal so I can just play that one, because that might be the one to copy.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Should I send it to the email that's on your Twitter account?
Yeah, send it to there. You could DM me on Twitter, email me at my email address, whatever you'd like, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll basically just see what they did, and I'll share that video, and I'll use their video to walk through it myself on like the stream.
Oh, great. I'll do that. The other thing I wanted to mention that I just wanted to plug, I'm in Maryland. We have, an election Tuesday for the governor, the comptroller, the attorney general. It's a very important election. We have a insurrectionist on the Republican side for candidate for governor who was at January 6th. And I'm disgusted because the Democrats poured $4 million into Maryland to prop him up, just so that they were thinking it would be a guarantee, that the Democrat would win. But there are no guarantees. And early voting is going kind of slow, but, we're hoping for the best.
How have the polls looked in that race? And I did want to plug
for the young people, because legalized marijuana is on the ballot in Maryland, and it has not been very widely advertised. So I just want everybody to get out and vote, because I just don't know how anything is going to go with this election.
All the Democrats had to do was let people know about the weed initiative on the ballot, and people would have gone out.
Yeah, I don't get, I am a registered Democrat in Maryland only because you cannot vote in the primaries if you are not a declared party affiliation in Maryland. So, I mean, I kind of I kind of have to be, declared in order to vote in the primaries. But I'm pretty disgusted, even as a boomer. I'm pretty disgusted with the way the Democrats are handling anything. I mean, I have friends in North Carolina who are working on the campaigns there, and the Democrats are not helping Sherry Beasley very much, the Democratic candidate there. She's African American, and in Madison Cawthorn's district where he lost, they put in a Democratic candidate that just isn't going to win. She's an openly gay woman who's married to another woman who's totally, it's just not going to happen. They're not strategic in what they're doing. And I'm just kind of at a loss. Although, I have been volunteering. I mean, I'm still volunteering, and I'm making calls in Georgia, and I'm texting in Maryland, but I don't really know what's going to happen, and I'm really kind of
Right.
a little scared.
Well, I could tell you the good news is it looks like, I mean, I'm looking at Politico's forecast for the gubernatorial race in Maryland. And, I mean, it looks like Dan Cox, the Republicans, got no chance. I mean,
Oh,
they said they
that's
got
good
solid
news.
Democratic, and I'm looking at 538, their forecast, and in less than 1 in 100 of their models, Dan Cox wins, and in over 99 in 100 of their models, Wes Moore, the Democrat, wins. I mean, it looks like the Democratic gubernatorial or the gubernatorial race in that, in Maryland on Tuesday is pretty safely, Democrat.
Well, I mean, I'm very happy about that.
Right.
I mean, I won't feel comfortable until the votes are cast, though,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I mean,
everything, it's
here in New York, we got people pushing that, that Lee Zeldin, the Republican, is going to beat Kathy Hochul. And I mean, I'll believe it when I see it.
whoa.
I highly doubt that's going to happen. I really do. I highly doubt it. I think anyone and listen, I'm going out and I'm seeing in certain parts of Queens, even I'm seeing the Lee Zeldin banners outside. Nothing for Kathy Hochul. But that's the thing. In New York, at least, what you're seeing is the loudest of that minority going out and buying these banners.
Oh,
People in New York City, we don't go out and put these, we don't hold out these things for like the incumbent because they're going to win. Like, it is like what people are going by is like, it feels like there is this rush of Lee Zeldin. He's got a boom of people coming out to vote for him. But what it really is, it's a few people who are just really loud. Because listen, Kathy Hochul is nothing to be excited about. No one's
right.
waving their flag for Kathy Hochul. But we're going to go out and vote for Kathy Hochul because she's going to be better than Lee Zeldin. Like, that's the thing.
Right. And she's from upstate New York, right? Originally. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kathy.
Yeah. So, I think obviously, the rest of the state it'll be close. If New York City was not in New York, I would be very worried if I was Kathy Hochul. But New York City's New York City's going to bail her out, especially Manhattan and Brooklyn. They're going to totally bail her out. It's going to matter about turnout, obviously. That's where it could come down to, turnout. But I think she's going to win. We could come back and laugh at me. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but
No,
that's what I think
nothing
right
is.
now from what I'm seeing and my, my lifelong living in this state. That's how that's where it's coming from. If she lost, would I be surprised? Sure. But I'm also not saying it's impossible.
Well, yeah, is he like a Trumpster type? I
Yeah,
mean, is
yeah,
he
yeah,
full on
yeah.
full on MAGA?
Yeah, he's not. He's as much MAGA as you could be in New York City without going. Because
With
still,
going
you got. I mean, in New York State, because you still got to be a little bit careful. New York State's not. We're not talking. I don't know, Florida or Texas here.
Well, I'm hoping for the best because I'm a native New York City girl living in Maryland, but I'm really hoping that works out. The other thing I wanted to sort of pick your brain about a little bit is I've been sitting in on I've been volunteering with the Democrats, so I'm in this Democratic group, mostly boomers in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. This area is very middle of the road Democrat. It's an MSNBC watching sort of Democrat kind of group. But in that group, and I've been sticking with them, even though I'm really to the left of them. Um, they're very, they're kind of, they bash the squad. They hate AOC, even though they're Democrats. And I just see such a big divide, between it's generational. I guess it's also ideological, but I don't know where that leaves the coalition because when I watch you, you're very measured, but if I watch the Young Turks, for example, they go full on against people like the people I'm working with in the in the committee that I work with. They're sort of these are corporate Democrats and they're the worst, and on the flip side, that's what you hear too. And I don't know, I don't know how to get boomers to watch you like I do.
Oh
I
well,
don't because they're
not
well,
everyone's
for
as
one thing,
cool
I
as
think
you.
it's I think it's also a technology thing because a lot of boomers are not on their computers looking at YouTube, or they're not.
It is weird because it's not a only there. Obviously, there's a generational divide. There's way more Gen X, millennials, Gen Z
Right.
online. That's no question about it. But there are a lot of boomers online. We see it on Facebook,
Well,
for example.
yes, yeah,
But
right, right.
but boomers who are right wing do consume a lot of this content. That's why so many of them have become wild conspiracy theorists. But you're right.
Oh,
There's not a lot of older people, even left of center, who consume like online content in the way that they're.
oh,
I
okay.
don't know what the reason is. I mean, they are online. Even I see them on Twitter, but it's nowhere near the numbers we see on
Oh,
the right. I have no answer for that. This is just also an observation I've had that you just reminded me about when you were telling me about your own experience. I wish I knew what the case was there. I don't
oh,
know.
okay. So you're saying the right wing boomers are on
Oh, hello?
people that they
Oh, you
follow
cut out for a little bit.
more so than boomers who would be. Oh, I'm sorry. So you're saying the right wing boomers are actually doing more YouTube than left wing boomers or Democrats?
Yeah, I mean, I see it in the type of, in the age range of people who are spreading these, right wing conspiracy
Okay.
theories, the QAnon believers. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. I don't know if, like, maybe Democrats are, and I think this is part of it actually, and this is more general, though. This is not just generational. This is across all generations. Democratic voters tend to just be sort of average news consumers. Like, they'll read the mainstream stuff just to catch up on what's
Right.
going on in the world, but they don't get too deep
Right.
into it. Republican voters across all stripes tend to actually be more plugged into the political world and everything going on. I'm not saying they're plugged in terms of like they're more knowledgeable. No, I mean, like, the shit they're reading is completely off the wall and not based in reality. But they get deep into that world, whereas Democratic
Okay.
voters tend to just read like the surface level stuff, accurate stuff, but stuff you just see in the New York Times front page and stuff like that. Republicans are diving into like Patriot John, Mr.
Yeah,
QAnon.blogspot.com,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
reading every blog post there. I don't know what accounts for that. I don't know, but that's just an observation I've had.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I don't see any real easy solution to it because I sort of straddle, but I would not probably be watching you or uh, Majority Report or the Young Turks if it were not for the fact that number one, I retired right before COVID, so I have time. I had all the time during COVID to just figure out what am I doing with my time in my house. In lockdown, and number two, I have millennial sons about your age, and they don't absorb any MSNBC. They're both watching you or the Young Turks or something on YouTube. So, I mean, that for me was what said to me, "Oh, well, let me see what's going on YouTube now that I'm in my house and I'm retired." But I think it's hard for my friends to sort of gravitate to something different than what they are used to, which is they're used to watching TV. That's what we boomers grew up doing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's obviously part of it. And of course, there's no left wing, cable network. Like that, the right loves to pretend that all they got is like the indie underground little fighters that are literally paying millions of dollars to have a cable network like OAN and Newsmax. And then, of course, Fox News, which some of them consider to be a sellout now. That's how far right they've gone. But, Fox News. But then they'll look at like CNN and MSNBC and the Washington Post and the New York Times and be like, that's left-wing media. And it's like, no, the left doesn't have anything like that. We don't have anything close to it. We really don't.
No, because I mean, after watching you and the Majority Report and others, and then tuning in periodically to MSNBC, I clearly see where MSNBC is now. I mean, they're a corporate,
Right. And
they're a corporate model, and
I'll say there are, obviously these outlets like Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC. They do have a few reporters who are good and a few analysts or commentators or pundits who do espouse some, left-leaning ideas. But again, those are just people they hire. And the main thing, though, is that they're still a corporate-controlled network that at the end of the day is not out to push left-wing ideas as the number one thing. They're out to literally just make money. And if they need to do a right-wing turn, like CNN, who's decided to go even further right than they
right.
already are, they'll do that no problem. There's no ideological bent there. But again, there are Daily Beast has. I've been on. There's great reporters at the Daily Beast who've been on my show Doomed before, like Will Summers and Kelly Weil. But again, there's individuals at these companies who are great. But at the end of the day, the company itself is still not like Fox News or Newsmax or OAN, where they're out to espouse a certain ideology. The only ideology they believe in at the end of the day, because they're corporations, is the ideology of money making.
Right. And MSNBC just fired Tiffany Cross, who was a young African American host on the weekend because she fought back towards Fox News after they went on an attack. So, I don't really see them holding the line on anything. They're just going for, I guess, their profits or whatever their goal is. And I think that's going to lose them a lot of African American viewers because a lot of people were upset about her firing. And so I don't know where that all goes, but
Right.
Anyway, love your show as always, and I'll let some other callers get in, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Wanda. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Okay,
Take care.
bye bye.
All right. Oh, I saw some people asking. Let me take this call, but I saw some people asking in the live chat what the number was. Just open up Skype and type in Doomed Live. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh my god. Hello, Cameron. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me? Is my mic working this time?
Yes, everything sounds great. I heard you serenading me with what is that?
It's something I found called like a melodica. It's like a keyboard you play into.
Very nice.
Good.
Have you been
Anyway, I wanted to call in to prove my worth to you so that I can get on this new show that you're talking about.
Oh no! Yeah, I can't want to say anything yet because it's not up yet, and I can't until it's approved by Apple. There's nothing.
You don't have to say anything. Apple doesn't need to know. It's all between us.
So how's it going, Cameron?
Pretty good. I wanted to call in and say something that wasn't funny.
Okay, go ahead. Feel free. You're always welcome to do that.
Did you know that it's now illegal in Canada to be striking?
Wait, what?
Well, that might be grandizing it a little bit. The province of Ontario has used their excellent card up their sleeve called the notwithstanding clause, as in they're not standing with the people they represent. So the QP, which is the Canadian Union of Public Employee, I forget what it is, but it's a very large union, spans across the country. But in Ontario, what they're doing is they're going on strike. Strike which has been declared illegal by the Conservative government headed by our favorite Canadian crack smoker, rest in peace, whatever his name is, Ford. And what they're doing is the union is apparently, and maybe I might be a few hours behind on the news about this, so if there's anything I'm getting wrong, forgive me. But they're continuing to go ahead with their supposedly illegal strike, a strike which has been called by a lawyer who's prominent in representing labor unions, Orwellian measures taken by the government to say that it is illegal for you workers to strike. They're not teachers, but everybody else that works at the school, kind of,
Right. Like cafeteria people, janitors, things like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Like public work. I'm not in the weeds. I'm not part of the union or anything. Although I've known people that have been in the past. It's a large union, but that they're continuing at this point, I guess, just to make in part at least, to make a political point that the government is taking exactly this Orwellian action to make their striking a crime, and to sentence them to a 4-year contract of not being able to negotiate. And it's it's kind of despicable, and something people might want. Another good one that from a different province, the province where I live, New Brunswick, the least known province, but we have the coolest tide, rises 40 feet every day. It's very strange. That's besides the point. Despite the Wolastoqey people's claim to the almost all of the land in the province, and their protest, the premier is refusing to do anything about capping subsidies on the monopoly Irving, by which there was no war, but is a monopoly. The Irving Company, which runs this province like dead dog on a leash, and the price of, everything is going up, and the place is being the company is being subsidized by the government, and the government is refusing to cap these subsidies as the prices of the commodities continue to increase. So, my question to you then is that, doesn't that mean that as taxpayers we would be paying to make things more expensive for ourselves?
From what you're describing, that is what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, I would have to look more into it, but that is exactly. I'm honestly a little bit thrown off by a Cameron call that is like not a. that's not a skit.
It is a skit. I made it all up.
Oh, really?
No,
Okay. You got me though. You got
Canada's,
me there for a second. I was like, oh my god.
Neoliberal hellscape in which all of our rights are, through the logic of capitalism, going to be stripped of us by any means, by hook or by crook. They will take everything from us. I was at a party with some yuppies recently. It was weird. Weird folk. So anyway, it's all
what kind of, wait. I'm interested about this yuppie party. Tell me more about the yuppies.
I don't, because I can't.
Was this made up? Did you make that up as well? No party?
No, but I don't want to get in trouble with them.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I'll respect it.
Yeah. But that's some real talk for all y'all. And do I have anything more to say?
I don't know. You tell me.
Do
you want to go out with a serenade?
No, because I already put the instrument down. I have a guitar. No. Oh, what do I have?
Ooh, what is that? That's a different one.
This one I don't really know how to play.
Whoa, very nice, Cameron. Thanks for the call. Always a pleasure, my friend. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. Oh, got a super chat here. Let's read the super chat. There were some super chats on the previous feed too. I got to read those. Remind me. I got to do that. Let's just read the one that's right here right now. Vinny Holiday with a super chat. Matt, do you think when WWE goes to Saudi Arabia, some of the wrestlers are reluctant? Feels dystopian to see them have to perform for a murderous king. Well, some of them don't go. Like Kevin Steen, I'm still calling him by his Ring of Honor name. Kevin Owens doesn't go. Like, he says, I'm not going there. RVD, Rob Van Dam, was the same way. Sami Zayn can't go because of his Syrian background. Just missed your call. Call back in. I'll take your call right now. There are definitely people who don't go and say they don't want to go. And then I'm sure there are people who don't want to go, but the money they need they get paid. It's a big payday at the Saudi shows. I believe Shawn Michaels came out of retirement to do that one-off match that was horrible. He was the best part of the match because he still got it apparently. But he was paid like $3 million for that 120-minute match or something. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend?
Not too bad. Well, that was a rare, serious call from Cameron, but
yeah, I know.
Displaying his musical ability is quite impressive. Well, I hate to bring it down a little further, but I watched some of that. I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but I watched some of that stuff from Saudi Arabia. And the bad news is the worst person you know is pretty good at wrestling.
Logan Paul, I know it's weird.
He's ridiculously good.
Especially for someone who just started doing it as a celeb wrestler. Like tons of celebrities come in, do a match. They're terrible at it, but WWE loves the mainstream press coverage, so they do it.
I'm just shocked at his athleticism. I mean, I haven't seen split jumps like that in a while.
He's good.
He's really good.
He's good. I mean, it's ridiculous that they didn't book him as the heel. I mean, I don't want to cheer him, but I'll boo him.
I don't either. But yeah. I can't. It's like when a conservative accidentally tells a good joke.
Honestly, I've never seen that. But I have seen Logan Paul, and he's a pretty damn good wrestler. It's pretty amazing.
I'm actually upset about it.
Yeah, it did. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, it is what it is. Wrestling is the carny's last stand, so I get it. But you gotta at least make him a heel. Make me hate. I mean, I hate him already, but he should be a hated character in the storylines, and they're dropping the ball by not really doing that.
If you ask me, if Logan Paul just did that, I'd hate him. If he didn't do the crypto scamming and all the other crap he does, if he just wrestled, I'd have a problem with him.
That's the thing, though, when you think about it. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially with, like, Dr. Oz and, like you said, Logan Paul and just a number of other people. It's like all of the worst people that we know were propped up by, like, all these big, supposedly liberal celebs or these corporations that the right thinks are anti-right wingers or whatever. Like Logan Paul got big from being a Disney Channel kid. Dr. Oz is totally Oprah's monster. She's the Frankenstein. I mean,
yep.
And none of these companies, I don't know if any of them or any of these celebrities like Oprah, any of them, I know she came out and like gave an endorsement of John Fetterman on her podcast by saying, you know, she doesn't live in Pennsylvania, but if she did, she would have already cast her vote for John Fetterman. I mean, that's great, but I mean that would be fine if you were just any old celebrity, but as the literal person who created the Dr. Oz monster, I think you needed to do a little bit more than that, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree with you because she has the resources. It wouldn't hurt her wallet. Wouldn't even scratch it. So, you know, dump on Oz a bit more. But,
like all these like terrible people, like reality shows, like we've like it was created by these mega media companies and conglomerates and corporate, you know, monsters and these big rich celebrities, and they put these horrible people out in the world as supposed entertainment, and they go about doing really horrible things. Logan Paul with his scams, Dr. Oz running for office. I mean, I'm just using those two as the example because they're literally the ones smack dab in my face. Logan Paul was just headlining a pay-per-view yesterday, and Dr. Oz is about to could possibly be senator. I don't think he's going to be, but he could possibly be senator after Tuesday.
Well, I guess in fairness to Disney, I don't know if they knew he was going to turn out to be like that, or was there any warning signs that we don't know?
I mean, just
because you know they gave Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, so maybe that makes.
I mean, but what do they like? What do they have done? They haven't done nothing. Like
that's true.
They're a net zero. Not bad, not good. I mean, they're there. I don't have any problem with them. They could continue doing their thing. They don't bother me. It's not like Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera is out there trying to set policies and shit like that, or is out there scamming people. They just put out music. I mean, fine. Let that be the most damage. Please. Dr. Oz, release a single and drop out of the race. I'll be happy to. I'll buy it. I swear.
I think what's happened is, I think if memories, I don't know. Oz was always doing TV doctor scams, and I think the heyday he came about, not many people knew. You know, everybody.
I mean, he was a scammer from the beginning with his snake oil and shit. I mean, come on, like, Dr. Phil too. I mean, I guess at this point he's not the worst, but he certainly hasn't helped. I mean,
I think with the Paul brothers, they're more of a creation of early days of YouTube where they were glad to take the audience anywhere they found it, and a lot of that was very edgy, right wing, or shock
yeah, I
type
mean,
videos. Yeah, and
I mean, the
that's
thing
what
is, like, none of them are like none of the people who've made these folks huge are doing anything to atone, doing anything to, and by I don't mean like get on your knees and apologize. I don't give a shit if you should be doing stuff to reverse the damage. You should be floating better people. You should be helping spread the word about these things. I'm not, Logan Paul. I mean, people who should call him out for his shit. But of course, he gets rewarded by headlining WWE pay-per-views, and you got. Again, Dr. Like those are honestly, I could probably any other night I probably could have given you like a whole list of examples, but all I could think of right now are Dr. Oz and Logan Paul.
Well, I guess onto a brighter topic. I am Ray Shaw Ghoul here, and you are the detective Binder. So, how did you figure out our friend Libtard01? And evidently, if you guys want to hoot, you need to check the history of Libtard01. I think he has said some comments that make me scratch my head a little. Like, Sam Cedar might be a lib, but he's pretty attractive. I was like, what?
I didn't see that one.
I'm paraphrasing, but
there's also a fake one out there.
I know. I think this was an old one, so people are making hay of.
Okay,
because
there was one where he retweeted something weirdly anti-Semitic from Fiorella from Convo Couch, which he would have never retweeted from his main account because that would have been mask off completely. I mean, I thought it was weird that he retweeted that tweet right away. It's that simple. That's what set it off. I was at the computer preparing for Doomed on a Tuesday night, like I usually do. And so because I was right in front of the computer, I had the Twitter reply open, and it just came up, and it immediately got retweeted. And I was just like, that's weird. Who retweeted this? And I saw it was Jimmy Dore, and I was like, that's really weird. And I was like, maybe he follows the guy. So I checked that, and I was like, no, that's weird. And I re-looked at what I wrote. I re-looked at what Libtard01 wrote. Didn't say Jimmy Dore in full, and he certainly isn't finding it just by searching Jimmy. Like I showed on that first in the part 1. You type in Jimmy on Twitter right now, you're getting like 20 new tweets a second. You're not finding a 2-day-old tweet like that. It was just weird, and all these things added up. And so I did that first report, which I thought if I didn't think strongly it was Jimmy at that point, I wouldn't have put together that part 1. It just all made it. It was just everything together, and especially the timing. I felt pretty strong about it being Jimmy. But still, to be fair,
Italian Vacation really killed it then.
Well, I'm talking about part 1. I'm talking about part 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like, I kept it open. I was like, it's totally possible that it's not him, but I feel pretty strongly it is. And then after that, some people started sending me things. There were some people who were like, there was a former People's Party person who was like, listen, I can tell you right now, I know some things they're doing. And it wouldn't surprise me that Jimmy Dore's copying their strategies or whatever. And I mean, I didn't go with that because great source to have, but there's no proof other than their word. And, who's going to trust somebody like that? I'm not saying they're untrustworthy. I'm saying you need to follow up. And I'm going to follow up with them because I believe them. But for a quick YouTube video and in the amount of time I had it, I could not, get everything I needed in that amount of time. But someone sent me, I think their Twitter name is @2cars, and they sent me.
I know 2 cars.
They sent me 2 tweets, and 3 tweets, I think. And in the first one, actually, their first point, I still never understood what the first point they were making was. They were trying to point out that the time zone was different in when Jimmy was in Italy, and I didn't see that. I could, maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. Maybe I didn't understand what they were trying to say. But then I noticed the wireless carriers, and I was like, wait a minute. If I go through all of this history here, I wonder if I could find corresponding screenshots that match the wireless carriers between the both of them. And so I was like, okay, let me start and just find any full screen screenshot from libtard01. So I did that. And then I went through Jimmy Dore, because obviously he tweets a lot more than he has a longer, bigger Twitter history than libtard01. Then I tried to find the matching, wireless carriers in Jimmy Dore's. And, the Verizon one, I was like, obviously everybody, that would be nothing crazy. But it's just one piece of the puzzle that adds to the story. And then I saw the VZW Wi-Fi one, and I was like, this is a lot more specific. Again, this doesn't prove anything, because obviously there are a number of people who still use it, but that number is still a lot smaller than the Verizon one. So this is just another piece that strengthens that whole thing. But then I saw the Vodafone IT ones, and I was like, this is it. This is, there's no way you argue anything around this. Would it have meant anything by itself? I think so. But the fact that we had the previous Jimmy Dore connection where he retweeted it right away, it was impossible to find, and he still found it within 3 minutes of it being posted. That combined with the Vodafone IT, and then also combined with Verizon and the VZW Wi-Fi, to me that was like, indisputable. That would have, convinced the jury if it was a trial, honestly. And then I found the secondary Italian. Carrier, the whatever it was called, TIM, and I was like, this strengthens it, because I'm sure not everybody uses two different carriers in Italy. And then the fact that it was at the same time. And while I thought this was a bullshit argument, being that the libtard tweet was right after the Jimmy Dore one I found, like it was just the next day, I still was like, people are going to try to argue he was no longer in Italy, maybe. So I found the video. There were a bunch of tweets where he was still posting screenshots of Vodafone IT after the libtard01 Vodafone IT tweet. But I was like, let's show the video evidence of them in Italy eating pizza, 'cause that's funny. And then the other, so all that evidence is what I found. And then Two Cars also said, was like, look at this tweet. Isn't that weird that you see that isn't that thing not? And I was like, all right, let me look into this. And so I matched them up. And while I was doing the live stream version, though, like, I didn't realize that my, for some reason, because the way it's a weird shape. My live stream program, my live stream app was having trouble zooming into that part of it, like on the fly like that. And literally at Two Cars sent me that video he threw together during the live stream of him connecting the two and showing they were a match in like Photoshop or GIMP or whatever he used. And I quickly grabbed the video and showed it. I feel pretty strongly that it's Jimmy Dore or his wife. I guarantee it's Jimmy Dore or his wife. I can't tell you who it is, because that, I guess you would need the evidence of them literally on it, like a video of them on it or like something like that. But it's one of two of them. And
well, if it's Jimmy Dore's wife, say Sam Cedar is hot in that tweet I saw. I need to find it, and that would make things very awkward.
To me, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter if it's Jimmy Dore's wife. It's the same thing. If like. You could argue if she wasn't, like, if she was a separate entity, had nothing to do with the Jimmy Dore show, just married to him. Like my partner has nothing to do with the shows I do. Her connection to the shows is she puts the kids to bed so I could do the show and prepare for it. If it was like that sort of relationship with the show, I'd be like, okay, it would be a bigger deal if it was his wife, because there's a separation there. Still weird she's using it in that way just to promote Jimmy Dore. But there is some sort of separation there. Maybe Jimmy Dore doesn't know about it. That would be an argument. She's doing it on her own, which, okay, but she is intricately involved with the show. She's on every episode.
Very strong chance.
Yeah, she's part of the show. So if she's doing it, Jimmy Dore definitely knows about it. So to me, there's no difference if it's him or his wife. It's the same thing. They're doing it fully
acting
as the
as
Jimmy
one
Dore
entity.
show. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But now that I was thinking about that, I have another mystery for you. Granted, with this one you can't give out the person's name, but you have to confirm their existence. And this is fun for me, even though it's a bit mean. Michael Tracy's elusive girlfriend. Can you confirm her existence?
Oh, see, that to me is not even worth it. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good one. It's not even because she doesn't have anything to do. He just uses her in his commentary to prove that he's not like a weirdo. But
right.
she doesn't.
We don't need to know her name. We just need to know if she exists.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
And hopefully she's not Oxygena. Karma. I can't even remember. Or she lives in Canada, or all the usual tropes. But
it's Cameron in a wig or something like that.
But no, what you've been doing pretty good, and I think your Sunday show is a pretty good time slot because one, not too much competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a Sunday. Like, because I think from talking with other folks in the TMBS Discord and the Majority Report Discord, they love all of the shows that are out there. But I think what's happening is people is time.
I mean, I started doing Thursday before a lot of other people, but I'm not someone that you'd be like, oh, Matt Binder does Thursdays. I'll get steamrolled by the Matt Binder stream. That doesn't happen. So no one was worried about doing Thursdays, and then I moved Doom to Tuesdays, and then I think didn't Left Reckoning move from Wednesday to Tuesday or something like that, or Wednesday to Thursday? I can't remember which.
What I do notice from these shows, because I only can keep so many. Like I would watch MR, then I watch Left Reckoning, and I watch your show, right? And then I try my best to squeeze in This Is Revolution as well. So I'm at my limit. I can't go any more than that.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, I try to watch. I can't even watch them because it's too much, and I'm doing content. And when I'm not doing content, I need to take a break. I mean, I try to watch segments I see going around, but it's hard. It really is.
So I think that's the I wouldn't say the danger.
What someone needs to do is they need to create. I guess we could call them little networks, and hire specific people to do these to be on these separate networks, like the best of the best to be on these separate networks, and then make like some sort of box that you could connect to your television set where you could then subscribe to all these networks in one little package.
Interesting.
No, I'm joking, obviously, but I mean, it's weird. Like, obviously, it's great that anyone could create content, but the problem is, everyone could create content.
What I do notice, at least in the MR sphere, right, is I think everyone's kind of focused on their own show, right? So they don't even have time to watch anybody else's show. Like they'll get the clips or whatnot, but as we can see, it takes a lot to do a show, and you're going to do 3. You're a madman.
Yeah, well, when you see what this one is, it's gonna make sense. I gotta strike while the iron's hot. And it'll be a little bit different than the other two as well. It's not gonna be. It's a lot more off the cuff and conversational. You'll see.
Okay, Bindergations. Investigations.
No, I that would be something that would be very time consuming. I would love to do that. I would literally, if I had 1,000 patrons, I would literally put out a new investigation like that a week if I could. I would hire people to make sure it happened. Literally. It's very time consuming though. Not all of them fall in your lap like Jimmy Dore's. And even when they do, you got to still make sure that you have a strong case. It's a lot of fun to do. That's why I do them, and I do them pretty good. But it's it's time consuming. Those ones.
Oh, also forgot about ESPN. Somebody reminded me since I'm trying to get into more ball sports instead of combat sports. But there's so many, so many. Here's the thing. I was wrong about Twitter. I thought it was gonna die in a year. Looks like it's gonna die before December. So I didn't I knew Elon Musk was dumb. I didn't know he was kind of like this is beyond like Kanye West dumb. I mean, is there nobody telling him that this is not going to work?
He's he's not very it's not surprising. I mean, it should be a lesson to all these people out there that whoever you think is, if there's anyone in your life that thinks like success comes from intelligence and money and wealth are created by very smart people, I mean, proof positive right here that's just not true.
Meritocracy has never existed.
the ingredient, the real ingredient is like lack of empathy or like full on narcissism. Like those are the ingredients. Like literally having no morals about what you're doing to other people, and strictly happy to extract as much money out of them as possible. That is the real. That's the real. If you want to be a billionaire, that's the real method of success. Not having any care for people other than the dollars in their pockets.
Well, it's so crazy. All that's going to end up is he's going to get his most diehard fans. I'm not even sure he's going to get that many conservatives to pay $8 a month.
I'm putting out a piece probably tomorrow that looks. I've been doing this for the past couple of days. That really makes the case about what is going to happen here with the subscription thing. And I can tell you right now, it is not looking good for him. It is not looking good. There is no way this subscription is a success in any metric. Let me rephrase that. The subscription itself could be a success when compared to other social media subscriptions. It's possible. They would have a long way to go because Twitter Blue is actually the least successful social media subscription product that I've seen. I have some numbers actually. Again, this will all be in the piece. It's possible that he turns that around and it becomes a successful social media subscription product. The problem is
so what are they subscribing to?
even success in terms of numbers, like the amount of people subscribing.
Okay.
But at its, giving him the most generous amount of subscribers, it is still nowhere near the amount he needs. It's not going to make a difference. Best case scenario is this is a success and it doesn't drive off a single user, or it doesn't drive off any significant amount of users, these changes, and he's still not putting a dent in the amount he owes through the subscriptions only. But of course, that best case scenario is not going to happen. It's possible that a lot of people subscribe, but those changes are going to drive off a significant number of people. It's possible that a significant number of people don't subscribe, yet a significant number of people are still driven off by the changes. Either scenario, any of those three scenarios I just laid out, none of them involve, even the one where his idea is a success, none of them involve the numbers needed for them to make a significant amount of return for what Elon Musk's investment in this was. There has never been a social media product like that has been able to generate that amount of money in that way. He is trying to do something that has never been done with a subpar product compared to other companies that have better products out there and haven't been able to hit those numbers. It is not going to happen for him.
But there's nobody telling him that, or better yet, anybody told him that he's probably fired. So, and the thing I'm thinking about is, if the rumors are correct, if you are not subscribed, which is going to be I safely assume most of the Twitter user base, right? They're not going to pay $8 a month. It's basically like they're being shadow banned. An actual case because all that's going to show up are all the verified.
Like let me put it this way: it's the average like the average conversion rate for this stuff is very low, very low. And I can't give away too much because it's going to be in the piece that comes out tomorrow.
No need
But
to.
going through every little, because you can't just look at the entirety of Twitter users. You can't just look at the entirety of Twitter's monthly active users. You have to get even further down the line to understand what type of audience this product would even consider a potential customer. And when you go down that line and get to that few million, and it's honestly not even, you then have to factor in the average conversion rate for these sorts of things, which across the board are about 0.5% to about 5%. Like, it's not a lot. It's a very small number of people. I mean, that's why advertisers are so adamant about getting in front of the right audience. Like, these companies, when it comes to online advertising, they have specialists who literally create these hyper niche, hyper specific lists of users based on users that like this Facebook page and this Facebook page and this Facebook page and this Facebook page combined. We only want to advertise to the Facebook users that like these 4 pages. We don't want someone who just likes 3 of them because that's not the user we're looking for. We got to get very specific in who we're going after. And there are countless different testings that go involved here to get the right ads in front of the right people. And again, it's all in search of this very small percentage, this very tiny single-digit conversion rate. I mean, it's crazy. But that's what it is. And like he is not factoring this in. I highly doubt it. And if he is, then he would know the numbers are not there. They're not there. And my concern, if I was actually one of Elon Musk's nerd confidants that he has surrounding him, I'd be like, listen, the amount of money you will make is not going to offset the amount of users you're going to lose for advertisers to advertise to. This is a completely pointless endeavor of his. I mean, we'll just have to see, I guess. But that's basically my take on it.
And also, as I know, there's no non-compete clause as far as I know. So with the amount of staff is fired, they probably could build up another social media thing with Twitter's old rules by next year.
I mean, here's the thing: like a lot of this, it's hard to run a site this big. Like that's the main thing at this point. Like Twitter's not doing anything crazy. The craziest thing it does is the infrastructure, the idea that you have all these users using it so much every second of the day. You have to have like great infrastructure, strong code to be able to, reliably and efficiently, work. It's not a simple task of just throwing a site together. Like, a startup can do that in a sense where, they're going to start off slow and, maybe gain a few hundred, maybe a few thousand users a month if they're lucky. And then as they grow, they'll be bringing people on board. And by the time it blows up, they'll be able to sustain something. I mean, that's why Twitter had the fail whale so much in the beginning, because they were trying to grow at the speed of the actual user growth. And the user's growth was growing way past what the company could do at that time. I mean, it's not a simple thing. No one can throw this together at the scale that Twitter is in any, quick amount of time. If you were gonna make like a basic text microblog, like just basic tweeting and that's it. Yeah, sure. Someone could probably like put that together in a few days, but to be able to handle the amount of users and make sure it works and things like that. Like that's a lot more than that. But yeah, I guess we'll just it'll be a fun ride. Listen, I don't want to see Twitter die. I mean, that's ridiculous. That like people
I'm not-
like Elon Musk says that. Like I spent more time on Twitter building my following on Twitter than any other platform. I don't want to throw away those years. I got 77, almost 78,000 followers. I don't want to throw that away, but I also am not going to simp for a billionaire.
Yeah. I guess for me, like, I see these things, as you said, it'll take a while for them to scale up. But I see these things as ultimately replaceable, right? And as you said, the model that seems to work is the reason why people are on Twitter is due to the moderation. And even before Elon Musk, there are some issues with that, right? And he's trying to take it in the other direction, the worst direction. And when one day rolls around and you have like 1,000 paid verified crypto bots hawking Toecoin or what have you, that's going to send people reeling just from the spam alone. And and as you saw with the other Twitter replacements that cater to conservatives, they ain't doing so well. And the truth is, conservatives like people who are not conservatives, because if it's not for them, they have nobody to annoy. They don't like talking to each other. It's not all that great for them. So I guess my long view of it is I think Twitter is going down as long as Musk is at the helm. And I don't see anything taking him off of the helm, right? So I think a new social media will kind of sprout up. So I guess on my last question, what's your thoughts on Mastodon? Because it seems more like a Discord thing.
It's never going to take off in the way Twitter did. It never will. People are forgetting the whole point of what made Twitter big. It's not like it made some sort of technological breakthrough with its posting 140 characters max at the beginning. No, the point was that celebrities and influential people liked using it. They, for reasons, maybe the simplicity, maybe the fact that they were one of the first, social media platforms to verify users. So celebrities knew they could post and people would know it was them. They flocked to it, and the people connected to Twitter for that reason. It wasn't because of any technological breakthrough. That's what Twitter like magic, secret sauce was. So it's not as simple as just building a new Twitter. It's not. I mean, I don't know people keep saying like, oh, MySpace, everyone flocked to Facebook after, but also there was like complete uses for MySpace where nothing replaced it. Like MySpace, one of the major communities on MySpace was, and even MySpace advertised this as being like a major thing of the whole platform to begin with, was music. Like band profiles, they had specific band profiles. It was one of the major features of MySpace. Nothing ever replaced that when MySpace died. There was never ever a mainstream big music platform after MySpace died. Sure, other sites grew like SoundCloud, Bandcamp. None of them were like MySpace though. There was never something that replaced that for artists and stuff. They just had to go to more general social media platforms. Twitter might die and nothing replaces it, honestly.
Where do you think people will go? When the site becomes intolerable for them?
I don't know. Maybe Instagram will. I mean, Instagram's losing users now too. TikTok's growing, but TikTok's very different. YouTube is still growing. I mean, maybe it just goes the way of video, and people who post text are just gonna have to start making videos. I don't know. There isn't any. I can't think of anything. There's no replacement, honestly.
Oh, so yeah. Yeah, that's sad. Well, yeah, that is sad, because I think for all its downsides, at least when it came to getting information, and once you had verified sources,
Maybe someone points out in the chat, maybe Facebook groups. And I agree. Listen, I think people who like left Facebook and hate Facebook, and listen, I get it. Facebook sucks for a lot of reasons. But Facebook groups is actually a really popular feature over there, and it's a lot better than the feed that everyone's used to. Find a group of find a group on Facebook that is, they talk about specifically your interests, and you could literally be in there. I've been a few Facebook groups that are fun to be in. They're funny and shit. Maybe that's what takes it over. Maybe because Facebook's, everyone's on Facebook. Maybe everyone just realizes Facebook groups are a pretty cool feature. But also Facebook would have to make sure that the main feed, the news feed doesn't ruin everyone's experience and makes them say, fuck this, I'm not staying on this.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm hogged up way too much time as usual.
Always a pleasure, Dave from Jamaica. Take care. Have a great night.
Yeah. You have a good night, Midler, and keep up the good work, and look forward to your investigations on old Tracy.
I'll try to put out more, but again, it's time consuming, so I don't know.
Don't lose sleep over it.
Obviously, if I come across one, I'm gonna put it together. The question is, like, I can't spend the time like searching all the to come across it. Like it'll happen, but not as much as I'd like it to.
All right then, Matt. You have a good one. All right.
Take care. Well, we went about close to an hour and a half. Maybe if one or two more people want to call in, I'll take calls. We'll do one or two more. Let me make sure I read all the super chats. Daredevil with a super chat. Matt, how jealous is Sam that you found the most damning evidence on Jimmy Dore being a fraud? I don't know. Sam's been loving it. Sam has been loving it. Oh, two people just called in and I went to grab it, and I lost both of them. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Matt. It's Josh from California. How you doing?
Hey, Josh. How are you? What would you like to talk about?
So have you seen, and I guess because it's scam economy, all of the layoffs that are starting to happen sort of around Silicon Valley, like some of the bigger...
Oh, well, Facebook's losing money hand and fist. They're spending billions on their breakthrough feature of creating 3D avatars without legs.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. Like you picked up on, I said that groups is actually a great feature. I know I rode the bus with the guy that was in charge of sort of building those features out. And
What?
Yeah. Well, no, I used to contract there. I helped build, I helped them plan all of their event spaces, like the size, the capacity, and that kind of stuff. So like we'd take, they have X number of engineers or this type of team, and they go to, however many large division-wide meetings or whatever, and that kind of stuff. So we plan out when they're building new construction, like how much. And I know I'm doxing the shit out of myself because there's only one person that did that for the time I was there. But yeah, so they.
Don't worry, no one watches this far into the episodes.
That's fair. I know you said your podcast listeners get really angry when you go over like an hour and a half or whatever, but
yeah, people like the live stream viewers, podcast, I guess, don't care because that 2-hour episode is the most downloaded single day of the show so far. So maybe they're fine with it, but the people on YouTube want me to clip stuff and make shorter content.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, so like that kind of stuff is, so they're supposedly going to lay off a shit ton of people within the next week or two.
By Wednesday, I heard Meta is going to start laying off biggest layoffs in company history, I think. or the biggest layoffs in like 10 years or some crazy amount of time.
Yeah, it'd probably be company history. I'm not sure they ever really did layoffs. I mean, they maybe a little bit, but they've been their strategy has always been one of those like constant growth, no matter what type things. So, yeah, it's very interesting starting to let Stripe laid a bunch of people off, and like, so watching all of crypto being sort of the bellwether in all of the venture capital money drying up, and obviously it's tied to interest rates and all that kind of stuff because you can't get free money anymore from the banks to start your shitty ridiculous scam business, whether that's crypto or the latest startup that does nothing but pays you in equity or whatever, like that kind of shit. But yeah, so it's just been really interesting to see. Is it having more of an impact? Like, is there do you know, have you seen, is there any sort of like feedback loop going on where like more of these supposedly real companies go under and it's causing?
I mean, I don't know what that would look like, honestly. Like, I mean, first of all, I think there's a point where, I mean, Meta is publicly traded. I mean, there's got to be a point where people start demanding Zuckerberg give up the reins, right? I mean, he's tanking his company, tanking his baby. With Twitter, obviously, it's not publicly traded anymore. So, I mean, Elon Musk is bound, I guess, to his investors and the banks that loaned him money. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like when you're that rich, you could get away with anything. I mean, why the fuck did they give him the money to begin with? The banks literally came out the next day and said, we're going to lose money on this. Why the hell did you give him money to begin with then? Well, probably guessing because they want in with Elon. They want the richest man to work with them. They want to make him happy for, I don't know, whatever they make from Tesla or whatever else. I don't know. I can't get in their mindset. I have no idea what their calculations are here.
That's why they gave, what's his face? Trump all that money. Deutsche Bank kept floating him loans, even though they considered it a bad investment. It was because like they just were worried about like the reputation, like part of it was the reputational damage if it came out that they were just like that they had already given him that much, so they kept giving him more to try and help him like dig his way out of whatever bad investment he had done. But also just like they chase after their loan officers are star fuckers just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But no, when I was talking about the feedback loop, I was more curious, like, are these layoffs affecting the crypto? I mean, I know crypto's already had its like nuclear winter or whatever, but like, is it further affecting these crypto companies, or is it because now you're seeing companies with tangible products that are in related spaces sort of pull back on investing and everything else? So is it causing that feedback loop?
I don't know. We're in a pretty weird time right now, where, workers were gaining power, little by little. I mean, nothing crazy, but workers were able to pretty much say, I don't like how I'm being treated here, and walk off the job and know they'd find another job. And our leaders weren't happy about that because can't have that happen.
Yeah.
And so we blame things. They blame things like inflation, which is bullshit. Because if it was inflation, you'd see these companies hurting too. Yet they're reporting profits never before seen, hand over fist, making more money than ever before. I don't know what happens next. I don't know. I just out of college in 2008 when the last recession happened. So I understood what was going on, but I wasn't understanding what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what this looks like. I don't
ended
know
up
what's going to happen. I don't know if, a bunch of tech companies, these big tech companies are going to fail. Because, I mean, you look at Google, they're doing fine, it seems. Apple's doing
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Apple's doing great.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
The
I mean,
icon.
I guess the point there is, again, these companies there are very big problems in those companies, but they both put out stuff that people seem to enjoy and feel like their money is being spent well, and so that helps on that front as corporations and companies. And it seems like mature adults sort of run those companies and not children in Twitter replies arguing about how you're going to pay me $8.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
sort of. I mean, so Alphabet is run by a mature adult. Google is run by a child who likes to blame his workers for, even though they have, what's his face? Sundar Pichai. He always blames workers. Like their productivity went up, and he said, "Well, we're gonna have to tighten our belts." But of course, didn't turn down his RSUs that they offered him, and they didn't decrease his salary any. Also, productivity was up, profits were up, and he still said, "Well, we're gonna have to tighten our belts." It's like he's not in like a town hall meeting.
Right. Oh, what I mean by mature adults, I don't mean like in our sense of like being like a good person. I mean like literally
yeah.
like knowing what they're doing to run things efficiently for their company. I don't mean in a sense of like
Tim Cook is like I mean, he's a schmuck and a weirdo, but he's like seems like an actual responsible like CEO who.
Oh yeah, I can't picture him fucking around on social media. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, or getting like screaming arguments with his employees in town hall meetings, like the guy at Google does. That's what I mean, where he like it's just a different way of engaging. Like he's just as bad as Musk. It's just he likes to yell at people personally or whatever, as opposed to
I'll never understand like the money that's thrown around in the tech world. It will always I understand it in terms of like, because I've been in this world of reporting in the media on it for a very long time now. But I mean, it'll never like make sense to me, the regular person, and not me, the reporter. Do you know what I mean? Like it is so ridiculous how much money is thrown around at these companies that make nothing money wise, that have like the goal is just to get so big but raise enough money to continue to sustain the money you're spending, and it gets so big to the point where one of these bigger companies like Google or Apple buy you out for a ridiculous sum of money. Like that's the entire, and then the VCs who invested in you, who gave you that windfall of cash to use up, they make bank off of that. Like that's just an unsustainable model, because eventually you're going to run out of companies that fucking get bought because there's nothing left to create new, or the ones that, or there are so few companies actually putting anything new out there.
Yeah,
like, they've hit a limit. We've been using Facebook, Twitter, like in the beginning, like in the early 2000s, we were going through social media companies like every year.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok's the new kid on the block. But even them, if you look back at ByteDance's Chinese version of that was out for a while too. We've been using these same social media companies for a very long time now. There has been no new standout for quite some time.
Yeah.
And
TikTok, the new one, but
but again, they came from ByteDance, and ByteDance had their app out years before that.
Yeah, and then the threat to Facebook was Instagram, and that's why they bought them. And WhatsApp is, it's a little different because it's you have to know who you're talking to type of thing, but Yeah, it's very.
I mean,
interesting.
I never got into Snapchat because that's again like that too. Like it's too sequestered into your own little group of people that you already know in real life, and that's not something that I mean. I use these as tools for my work, to share the content I create. I share my work with friends, but I don't want to just share it with friends. Snapchat's more of just like a strictly like fun tool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and there's a whole subset of those like Telegram and Viber and
Well, Telegram's actually grown a little bit beyond that, where people join Telegram groups to sort of treat like Facebook groups.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the white nationalist ones mostly.
That's who I'm thinking of, but yeah, it's like WhatsApp in terms of like there is actually a legit user base outside the U.S. Telegram seems pretty popular outside white nationalist circles outside the United States. So there is a use case there, but here in the United States, it's pretty much just like, yeah. In South America, they use WhatsApp for like text messaging. Like that's what they use instead of iMessage and texting. That's the app.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend was Eastern European, and that's all they use to keep in touch with family in like Ukraine and the surrounding area. So that or Viber, which I don't know who owns that one, but it's very similar to WhatsApp. But no, you brought up the and I'll real quick, and then I'll let you go because I'm sure you said you wanted to take other colors. It was really interesting, like because companies not really making anything and then hoping to get bought out. That was sort of the original scam economy. Oh, I mean, not the original, but within Silicon Valley, where they would pay people shit and just offer them equity and work them 80 hours a week.
Well, the good thing now is those, if you're a programmer, an engineer, you're gonna get paid, and you're decent. Google, Facebook, all these companies are gonna pay you a shit ton. I mean, we'll see if that rides over in the coming week. But I mean, that was the thing for a long time. And if you did get in one of those places, like the Twitter engineers, like obviously the comms team and design team, like they might have some troubles, but I'm sure the Twitter on their resume will look good. But they're not, it's not as safe bet for them. But any of those Twitter programmers and engineers who got laid off, I'd be shocked if like the majority of them already don't have offers from like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, etc.
Yeah, well, so Google has had a hiring freeze for the last 6 months. Although they somehow, despite the fact that they have a hiring freeze, they still added like 40,000 employees.
Yeah, that's what I think. They're gonna if someone's out there that they want to scoop up, they're gonna scoop them up.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know. It's a weird, like you said, it's a weird time, and I don't know what the hell's going on because it's this again, like corporate profits are way up for most people, or for a lot of them, and then but the Fed is determined to sort of break worker power with raising interest rates because God forbid we raise taxes. So.
I mean, I listen, I'm actually crossing my fingers that, maybe it would be good for a lot of people if shit hit the fan again for the very wealthy. And obviously some people would lose their jobs, but I do feel like at least for future generations, like there needs to be some sort of square one again. Like shit can't keep rising without wages rising. Like it's just unsustainable. It's unsustainable. There's got to be some major loss for the people at the very top, so they have no choice but to erase the ridiculousness that they've created in the past, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is 2008, the aftermath of that was...
We bailed everybody out. The people at the very top got bailed out, and all the regular people got fucked over.
Well, and they used the bailout to secure all of the assets that the regular people couldn't afford anymore. So that's why there's like the Irvine Company and Graystar and all of these enormous real estate investment trusts that own all of these Avalon's another one that own all of these apartment buildings. They never would have been able to afford to expand like they did, except, they bought up all the distressed assets in the wake of 2008 because they got all of the bailouts and nobody else had any money. So, which is exactly what happened again in 2020, where people. How did people fucking forget the market crash in March of 2020? Like, they keep talking. You see all these libertarians.
I gotta say that was I've spoken about this before. People who lost their job obviously did not, were but I even heard from people. A lot of people, I had friends who were telling me how, listen, I'm making more money thanks to, being unemployed right now and the COVID relief for the people who lost their jobs. I'm making more money now. I mean, there really was. That was the closest I think there ever was to like there being a real, almost fixing of what was going on. Where I got to work remotely, so I didn't lose my job, and I was getting the relief checks because I made it under a certain amount, and I'm in a household of 4, including 2 small children. It was a huge help. I honestly, financially was struggling every single month to pay off bills. And then 2020 happened, and just that little kickstart, that little extra cash and everything else remaining the same and being able to catch up a little bit here and there, it completely changed my financial situation. Again, I'm not doing great, but I'm also not struggling to pay bills every month.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And I think, that's what the government's supposed to be there for. But
right.
My point is they being Wall Street and, all of these big companies got $4 trillion in bailout money in March of 2020 to prop up the stock market because Trump didn't want to lose the fucking election. And
I'll never forget that fucking moment you're talking about, where literally they injected it. You saw line go up for like literally a second, and then it went right back down. All that money just evaporated.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, that was what sustained the market, man. Like it went down and then it went back. I know what you're talking about, but like it was a steady recovery from that day on. It just took a little bit, but
right.
No, it was $4 trillion and they're talking about like, oh, it's inflation. The $2,000 or $3,600 total or whatever in relief money that your average person got is what caused inflation. And it's like, no, they paid more total. All of the bailouts that normal people got over the span of the 2 years was like $1.5 trillion. It doesn't even touch what they gave to these vultures. And and they used it again. Part of the reason corporate profits are going up is because they used that money that they got from those bailouts to snatch up more distressed assets, and more, and housing at a discount and all that kind of stuff. And so they managed to expand even further. It's incredible. But yeah, we absolutely have to do something. But, Tuesday could either be a step towards maybe fixing it a little bit if they somehow manage to hold on to the House and pick up a couple of seats in the Senate, but I don't have a lot of hope. But it's also so hard to tell with the fucking polls because so many of these pollsters that are being added into the weighted averages now are like Teal funded or Koch funded or what's the other? There's another one. It's not APEC, but there's one of their subsidiary ones. Like they're putting out basically shitty polls with bad methodology, and they're getting folded into like 538 polling averages and stuff. So, which is because I think they're trying to set up the whole election with stolen narrative, no matter what happens. Again. Right. So, anyways, I'll stop taking up all of your time.
No, this was a fantastic call. I love long calls when they're great. And Dave from Jamaica had a great call before. Wanda had a great call before, and this one another great call. I really appreciate the time.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
I think that's it. I think we're gonna call it a night. Gone. Almost 2 hours. Oh, Tuesday, I did end up agreeing to do that stream. Last call, really quick. You got 2 minutes. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, what's up, Matt? It's Omega. How you doing?
Hey, Omega. I'm doing great. What would you like to talk about?
Well, first off, Dave reminded me of MySpace. Remember how broken some people made their pages when they freaking just like stuffed it full of like just stuff that wasn't gonna like cooperate with people's browsers? Oh dear God. And sometimes people would have music playing without the music player. Anyhow, I wanted to see what you thought about this. Is a totally different angle, and I wanted to see what you thought about in regards to this whole drama between. Are you familiar with who Megan Thee Stallion is?
Megan Thee Stallion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with who she is. I don't know a lot about her, but
You're familiar with and of course you're familiar with Drake, and you're familiar with the current ongoing thing where for some reason he mentioned in a song that basically she lied about getting shot at by that other rapper. I don't know if you know about that story from a while back.
I don't know.
So long story short, she was dating a rapper who used to be an R&B singer called Tory Lanez, and is one of those guys that and I gotta be like tough guy now. And some altercation happened in a car, but he ended up shooting at her feet, and she I think she had to get hospitalized for it. I wasn't sure, but outside after that, created a whole situation of like people not wanting to have anything to do with it because obviously that's a very violent thing. And then fast forward some time later, she's doing great and all this stuff, but then Drake for some reason mentions her in a song, and it isn't the first time he's participated in this kind of like incel / the popular girl rejected me type of behavior, because other people in the past have rejected him, and then he would do something kind of petty that would kind of indicate that he just basically was like about as toxic as they come. And then here comes the juicy part. There was an interview with you've watched Stranger Things before?
What?
Are you familiar with Stranger Things?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So Millie Bobby Brown actually had an interview years ago when she was still much younger, mentioning that Drake texted her at some point or whatever, and I'm like, what? And everybody's like, what business is that texting you?
That. Yeah, I remember that being
everybody's like,
weird.
Yeah. And then here's a kicker though. There was an instance where somebody kind of freshly became of age in a way. There's no other way to put it. And he rented out a stadium for her so they can basically have a dinner. Yes. Have a dinner.
Very weird.
And then it gets better because sometimes there's like there's been pictures here and there after he got famous from rapping, that is, where he would hang out with somebody that looks minor or whatever, and then he'd just be chatting them up. It's all sorts of creepy stuff. And even in a worship, it's like, hey Vanessa, you look good, blah 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 blah. It's like, it's just one of those things. It's just, I don't know if you wanted to go for a celebrity angle type of thing. I don't know what kind of content you cover on your third show. I don't know how you do
that's
it.
Good. I think it should be, if everyone really thinks about it, I think it would be obvious. But that probably wouldn't come up on there. You'll see. You'll see what it is.
It really gets how do I say this? This is gonna sound really bad, but it kind of gets the whole QAnon conspiracy level type of thing going, because it's like, oh, another celebrity liking them a little too young. It's a little strange, a little weird. And then when you get into how many people in rap and hip hop kind of were into like, or R&B were kind of into significantly younger women or women that just came of age, it's a rabbit hole you go down into, and you're kind of like, this is very creepy and very off-putting and whatnot. Yeah, just a lot of those things.
Yeah. No,
if you ever want
yeah.
to do a deep dive on those, it's a very interesting thing to do. You're
I
probably going to get a lot of people calling you for that.
Thanks, Omega. Always appreciate the call.
All right, later.
Bye. All right, folks. That's it for the calls. What in the world just happened? I don't even know. Let me give it a second to see if I even get back on here. What in the world just happened? What in the world just happened? Oh, good. The YouTube feed is still up. I'm back on Twitch. Okay. I don't know what happened there. That sucks. And now I got no viewers on Twitch, though, to raid. I don't know why that happened. I closed out Skype. Shit, I can't close out Skype. I think that's what did it. And I just reopened it because I'm an idiot. I'm not taking any more calls. Let me read those super chats that I missed. I'm sorry. I don't know why that happened. J-Stack with a super chat. Extra stupid when could have hundreds of millions of funding by selling the token that had zero cost when MC is billions. LOL, big shout out, Dirty Bubble. And Sam Cedar's right bicep. Hello, Matt. Hello, Pink Bubble thing. Those were the super chats during the episode. Shit. Oh, there's some viewers back on Twitch. Okay. Not as much as I had, but some of them are there. Who should I rate on Twitch? Drip Alert, resubscribed at tier 1. Subscriber for 5 months. Thank you so much, Drip Alert. Andriticus, resubscribed at Prime. Subscribe for 3 months. Thank you so much. Don James cheered 38 bits. Thank you. Really appreciate the support, everybody. Tokyo Hans gave out 2 community gift subs. This was from last week. Anastasia Beaver House resubscribed at tier 1. Subscriber for 3 months. Thank you so much. Little Miss Martian resubscribed at Prime. Subscriber for 3 months. Thank you. Tech Tink subscribed at Prime. One Less Name resubscribed at tier 1. Subscriber for 3 months. Thank you so much. Goat Trek subscribed at Prime. Artistic Simplicity, tier 1 subscriber 3 months in a row. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support, everybody. Who should I raid on Twitch? I lost most people, but let me raid someone. A bunch of people came back, so let me raid. Let's not take up too much time because there's not too many people on. I'll raid Amy C3. Yes, makes the most sense. You did miss me reading your super chat, Daredevil. I'll read it again, though. Where'd it go? You said, Matt, how jealous is Sam that you found the most damning evidence on Jimmy Dore being a fraud? And I said, oh, Sam loves it. Sam has been super supportive of it. He loves it. I mean, he specifically wanted me to do it on Thursday, like bring it up on Thursday so I could cover it. And then so he could have a secondary reaction and so it gets extra coverage. And he's been, he was DM me laughing at it, thinking it was great and hilarious. He's been very supportive of it. He loves it. All right, I'm going to, once again, patreon.com/MattBinder if you can. That's the best way to support this show and me. Twitch Prime, connect your Amazon Prime subscription to your Twitch account. And I will be doing that stream, that right-wing stream on Tuesday. I'll probably do a doomed post-midterm stream very late after that for maybe an hour or so. I'll get you guys the link when I get it for the, it's an interesting lineup. I'll share it with you guys. It's like Lauren Chen, Carl Benjamin, a.k.a. Sargon of Akkad. I think Lauren Southern is going to be on it. Destiny. It's going to be very funny, I think. I'm going to have a great time doing it. But Ben Burgess is apparently doing it too. So I think it's going to be really funny. I got to do it. How do I not do that? I mean, you saw how the Tim Pool thing went, right? All the calls I got after. How do I not do this? It's too funny. And you know me, I'll take full advantage of it. I ain't going to give him an inch. One less name says, "Oh, dude, Matt's getting down into the muck for election night." Yeah, it's gonna be really funny. Ezekiel Mordecai, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thanks, Matt. The stream on Tuesday. Some people are asking. I think it's gonna be on Odyssey, which is better than it being on Rumble or BitChute. It's going to be on Odyssey. And I think it starts at 6. And it's going all night with different panels. I can't be on at 6. I got to go vote after I'm done working. And then I got kids to feed and put to bed. I'll probably be on there at my normal streaming time, maybe like 8 at the earliest. Maybe around 8:30, 9 more realistically. And I'll probably be on for as long as they want me on until, I don't know, 10, 11. Maybe they want me on for half an hour. I don't know how long they want me on. I think it ends at 11, so I wouldn't be past 11. So I max I would be on there is like 2.5 hours. I don't think I'm going to be on that long, though. And then I do my own stream. I don't know what time that'll be because I don't know what time I'm going to get off their stream. One less name says, will you be restreaming it on your YouTube channel? I don't want to deal with the tech stuff. What I will do is grab it and re-upload it after. If anyone wants to record it to help me out to make sure nothing gets removed, that would be great. But I don't want to deal with focusing on any tech issues, making sure the stream is working on the multi-stream and that my feed is going to them on Odyssey, but also the stream is going through YouTube. It's I don't want to be focusing on that when I should be focusing on the content. So if anyone can record it, screen grab or whatever, that would be great. I'd really appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna raid MEEC3. It was an absolute pleasure to have a Sunday night with you all. I will see you all Tuesday for the midterm election streams, the one I'm going to be on and then my own. And then I'll see you next weekend for Scam Economy. And then hopefully sometime this week too, the third podcast drops. All right. Have a great Sunday, everyone. See you all next time on the Scam Economy.